And we're live. Hey guys, welcome to the latest episode of the Fitness Podcast. Uh, we have Chelsea here. I'll actually let her introduce herself.
Awesome. Hi, Nick. Thank you so much for having me on the Fitness Podcast. So, my name is Chelsea Keene, and I am a NIA dance fitness teacher. NIA is a holistic fusion fitness practice, and it combines movements and sensibilities from the dance arts, the martial arts, and the healing arts. Really approaches fitness from a holistic lens. And I am a NIA brown belt instructor, so I'm level 3 of a 5 belt training system. And I've been teaching for about 5 years. I teach at Bliss Yoga Studio in the west end of Toronto.
Yeah, so I actually have the website to your own podcast as well. I think we
Yes.
started our journey at a really similar pace. So the information will be in the description of this video. But yeah, guys, please do check out her channel.
Yes,
So
I have a podcast called Let Beauty Guide You, and it's also a health and wellness podcast.
yeah, so I think we actually have a lot of similarities, and that's actually one of the things I want to get in touch with. So first of all, I want to talk about a bit more about what you guys do at NIA. I know you talked a bit, like gave a brief introduction,
Mhm.
but in terms of like the classes you guys do, the structure and everything, can you give a bit more details?
Yeah, absolutely. So every class is done barefoot. And so basically I'm at the front of the room and I'm doing choreography, and people are invited to do the choreography with me. So at the beginning of class, we all step in. We have a focus and intention at the beginning of class. Then we step in, and then we warm up, and then we have a get moving cycle where we're kind of moving more and really getting the heart going, and then we cool down, and then we have a floor play element. So we get on the floor and we, really increase our strength or flexibility, push and pull, and get creative, and then we step out. And the choreography is really designed to be accessible for everyone, and it's also designed so that people can take the class at their own pace and level. So I'll always say at the beginning of a class, you can do this kick, level 1, level 2, level 3. And really, it's all about pleasure. And the first principle of NIA is the joy of movement. So it's really about just connecting with yourself and experiencing the flow and the joy of movement in a dance class.
Yeah, so considering you guys are supposed to be a group exercise, I think the quarantine did affect you guys quite a bit, right?
Yes, that's correct. And we are very resilient. So I have taken my NIA classes online. And because it just feels good for me, I'm such a stand for health and wellness, I have made them free for the time being, because I think too is now a great opportunity for people who are at home and have a bit more time than usual. It's a great opportunity for people to try NIA, which is really a revolutionary fitness experience. And I know other teachers in the community have taken their classes online as well. And it's not ideal. What's ideal is that we all get together as a community, and it's important to be energetically together in physical time and space. However, it's just such, we got to use these tools for technology for advantage, right? And it's still a great way to connect online for sure.
Yeah, I think the exercise that you guys do provide, whether it be online or in person, really does help people's wellnesses. So I gotta commend you on that.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I've got a lot of good feedback about it. And of course, it's not perfect. Like Zoom is quite overloaded and, it kicks you out after 40 minutes and all of that. But yeah, it is so great to be able to connect with my students, see them throughout this time. And, it's about really supporting each other on our wellness journey too. So I'm really grateful for Zoom and all the tools we have available to us for that.
Yeah, and we're not gonna let that 40-minute time frame block us. We want,
Exactly.
yeah, we want to reach out to as many people as we can, as long as we can.
Yeah.
Zoom, I'm not telling you our secrets, but we got ways around that. But yeah, speaking on wellness, the quarantine itself, one of the biggest things I think that has been affected is the wellness and the accessibility to exercise. You actually talk about how you go online for exercise videos,
Mhm.
but not everyone will be able to access that or so on, or people who don't aren't the best dancers. I know I'm not the best dancer, who just want to seek wellness in other ways during the quarantine. Do you have any advice for them that you want to dwell into?
Yeah, and I think this is going to be kind of a long answer if you don't mind.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, I was giving it some thought, and I think during this time of the pandemic, and we have a lot more time in our hands, or not all of us, the frontline workers obviously don't, but people who don't have work right now, we're really gonna see. Um, we're really going to see all of our excuses and all the stuff that blocks us in daily life, and it's going to be exacerbated in this time. So it's not even the fault of the virus if we're not feeling motivated or we're not taking care of our wellness plan. It really is those internal limiting conversations that we have. So if anyone is struggling with taking care of their health and wellness, what I would actually recommend is they get to the core of what that resistance is all about. And 9 times out of 10, I can tell you it's not about health and fitness. I can tell you that the core of that resistance is likely something that has happened in your past that had you develop a limiting belief that made you feel like, oh, I'm not like maybe you're living into a story of I'm not worthy of that body or that life or that sense of wellness, right? So what I would actually recommend if anyone's struggling to take care of themselves right now is to get into some sort of um, mindset program, some sort of self-awareness program where you can really discover what those limiting beliefs about yourself are and get to the core of your resistance. Usually when we're struggling with motivation, we're not actually struggling with motivation like we typically think of it, like laziness. It's mental blocking, right? So what I would recommend is really getting in tune with what's stopping you. And then from there, once you have that awareness of what has you not taking care of your wellness, you can heal that. And then from there, you can really make conscious choices about, choosing fitness programs, choosing exercises, choosing activities that you love, and really coming from a place of feeling pleasure in the face of exercising and taking care of your wellness. So that's what I would say, is that once you are able to shift the conversation from resistance to pleasure, that's when it's a game changer. And I always recommend choose a fitness program or an exercise or whatever it is, whether it's dancing or martial arts or whatever. It's choose what you love, and no doubt you'll be able to find something in this time, something online that can serve that need. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, and one thing that I've actually wanted to add to what you talked about is during this time, we know not a lot of people actually have to go out and work. A lot of people just have like the freedom now to. Obviously, you're going to be worried about paying your bills and all that, but with Canada giving out that $2,000 on April 6th, it's not still an issue, but like not too much. But like right now, you have a freedom that you don't have when you have work. Is you have the ability to lie down on your bed and just
Mhm.
think about all the choices you made and all the choices you have to make. Plan out your life. Really, there's nothing really stopping you other than hunger or something to just sit down and like think. So one thing that I've been doing a lot for that is I'm actually wearing their shirt right now. This foundation, Inner Engineering.
Mm.
Um, I've been listening to a few of their webinars actually, and trying to follow a few of their yoga. There's a few other yoga places as well. that you can follow and that do online yoga tutorials, and just sitting down, learning how to like breathe and think. You don't actually have to be meditating. You just have to think in your head like, oh, what do I really like? And then now that you have time to do it, I'm pretty sure you have $15 to spare for a Udemy course to learn that specific thing, or even better, for free. You can go to Chelsea and have a free dance tutorial with Nia.
Mhm. Yeah,
So yeah, that's one thing that I've been focusing on, and I think that would benefit a lot of people
yeah,
with
totally.
maintaining wellness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know a lot of plans and everything have been bummed out, and I know for a lot of people, getting encouragement to work out, like when you go to a gym and you see everyone else there lifting weights,
Hmm.
and you sit there like playing on your phone, it really does bum you, like you feel like crap for doing that. But now that everyone's at home, like no one's stopping them from like thinking they're working out but actually playing on their phones. So what advice would you give for people to actually get the motivation to do some sort of exercise when they're at home?
Yeah, well, kind of like what I talked about before is I think you really want to find that part of you that's intrinsically motivated, and kind of in line with the law of attraction is you choose an activity that makes you feel good. And then when you feel good, like physically after working out or doing an activity, then you want to naturally you want to eat a little bit healthier. And then when you eat a little bit healthier, then you're like you feel really good, then you want to make good choices for yourself, so you're staying in line with your word and you're keeping your integrity. So I think it's just like you want to gain that momentum, and it just starts with one little action a day. So get up, put on nice workout gear, like put on a nice outfit that makes you feel good, it gives you that heuristic cue, like, okay, I got to show up for life today. And then that'll just give you a little bit of momentum, and then you just keep going from there. um, and then the other thing too is to get involved with a health and wellness community and have accountability partners. That's always really helpful to speak with someone and just say, hey, I have this mapped out for myself. This is the exercise plan that I've got planned out. And I really request that you call me and check up on me and make sure that I'm in line. And I'll do the same for you. So, you just want to have accountability partners and be working with people, or be in conversation with people who have the same goals as you. And so that you can lift each other up and be part of that higher vibration that's going to take you where you want to go.
Yeah, and like you said, just one thing to add on that as well, is basically going one step at a time. And like that one step can probably show you a lot of difference. For me, like for the first few days, like waking up and making my bed was the
Totally.
biggest issue. So the
Hmm.
moment I got up and like I made my bed and like it's not comfortable enough for me to fall asleep again, that was motivation for me. Oh yeah, I got to go grab breakfast.
Hmm.
And then after I eat breakfast and like I don't have time to like sit there and just like stare at my bowl of cereal, I'm like, oh, now I have to go do this. Now I have to go work. And I know for a lot of people, school isn't actually canceled. Everything's moved online. So even though like it's online, not thinking that, oh, I'm needing to like I got to skip class and just lay there or play video games for a bit more longer. Actually attending your classes regularly online, taking that extra initiative to stay on your timetable no matter what's blocking you, I think would definitely help quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when there's no official structure guiding you, like the conversation of integrity becomes really important now more than ever, right? So it's really becomes a matter of you really see how your word creates worlds. So if you say that you're going to do X, Y, and Z at so and so time, you better do it now because we don't have as many people holding us accountable like they are in like the normal pace of a structured society, right? So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I learned nowadays is like to keep my mind off of the news
Hmm.
and focusing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be looking at like the COVID-19 map,
Hmm.
but the anxiety I get from watching the news with like the press basically like yelling at the politicians, and the politicians like not answering the questions but like laughing the question away, just
Right.
gives me anxiety because like I like the fact that I trust these elected these people to know what to do, but they have no clue as to how to handle this situation. I think it causes a lot of anxiety for many people. So think of it as if you haven't hit COVID-19 yet, don't worry, you're not going to get it as long as you stay home.
Yeah.
Just focus on improving yourself. I think that's one of the biggest things. So yeah,
Yeah.
just to
Go
yeah,
ahead.
you were
Sorry.
saying. Oh,
Yeah, I just like we really see the radical impact of our individual actions, right? So we're now more than ever, we're profoundly related to how connected we are as a society, right? So if we all have one person that we're sneaking out to meet when we're supposed to be social distancing, if everyone's doing that, then we're not actually really social distancing, right? So we really see the impact of that. So I think it's really important to just be setting an example by having a lot of integrity ourselves. And the more integrity that we have with our actions and ourself in this time, the more people around us are pulled to have integrity as well. It's kind of like you lead by example, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest issues we have because like uh, a lot of people in America in Canada are privileged in a way where they can stay at home and self isolate. Whereas if you go to my family's currently from originally from India, and if you go to a place like there, everyone knows that there's a lot of poverty there where they can't. If you live in a slum, you can't
Yeah.
social isolate yourself. Like
Mhm.
Corona, like Iron Shed's not gonna stop Corona from hitting you.
Yeah.
So we have a privilege of being able to socially isolate ourselves and focusing on self development. I think we've been in quarantine for almost 3 weeks now. So in 3 weeks, there's certificate programs out there that can teach you how to program or teach you a new language, teach you how to
Mhm.
draw, teach you how to dance, and like there's a lot of things that people can be doing in the foreseeable future that can definitely improve them.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Is in this time we are very privileged, to be able to have this time inside, and we can use it wisely, and really focus on our self development. So I think that's a good point.
Yeah, so I just want to get a bit more personal as well, like by sharing I want to share. We talked about a lot of principles and everything, but like I think people do respond a bit more to like examples. So
Mhm.
I just want to like ask, what's one thing that you learned in the last 3 weeks that you didn't know before, or what's one thing that you feel like you've improved on with this extra time that you had?
Oh, well, I've been really on my self development, so I'd love to answer this question.
No worries, take all the time you want.
So I'm definitely using this time to become a better Nia teacher. I'm learning new routines, and of course I'm still teaching, so staying in the practice, and reading my Nia workbook, which is very important to sharpen my skills and my knowledge about anatomy and everything. So I'm taking that on, and then also I'm really taking on my dating life. So I'm profoundly aware that in my recent past there's something that's not working about my dating life. So I've taken on. I'm reading. Uh, I read this book called Date Without Heartbreak by like he's a male relationship coach. I forget his name, Evan something. And I also invested in a program from the coach Matthew Coast. So I'm learning much more about the male psyche, and also just reflecting on what habits I have that don't really work in the dating world. And what I'm finding is like I'm quite powerful in a lot of areas in my life, and then sometimes I use the same skills that make me powerful in one area, and I try and apply it in the dating realm, and I'm learning that that doesn't really work. So yeah, it's been really cool to kind of uncover my blind spots in that area of life and take this time to reflect on that. So that's what I've been taking on.
Uh, Let me tell
What
you
about
about,
you?
yeah, for me, unfortunately, I had no luck when I was not in quarantine. So in quarantine, it's probably even worse for me. Considering the fact that I know Photoshop and like people can't actually see me for my actual face now. So that probably can play on my strong side in that aspect. But
Well, what I would say to that is that maybe you should take on developing your dating life and receive some coaching, because there's nothing inherently unattractive about any of us, right? It's all the the desire that we create, and the attraction and the chemistry we create. So if you're feeling that way, I my coaching is you take on your dating life too, get some
yeah,
coaching.
I will be linking you up with my ophthalmologist after this podcast. But yeah, in a serious sense, I've been trying to focus a lot more on school and like basically there was a lot of stuff in the tech field that I really wanted to learn, but just due to commute to classes, actually sitting in classes, doing homework, and then having to sleep early so I can wake up for class the next morning. I haven't had enough time to focus on a lot of the hobbies in my tech field. So you guys can probably see like this hasn't been green screened out yet, but like I got a lot of books for stuff that I wanted to learn for a while, but like finally been able to actually learn them. And I used to have the CompTIA certificate, which basically qualifies me to be a computer technician. It expires every 3 years, but mine expired last year. I have not been able to re-get it. So I'm trying to rewrite that exam online so I can get that certificate again. So once this is over, I can go back to working on computer hardware. That's the
Cool.
biggest thing. And I'm also trying to exercise at home. I got a setup in my basement.
Got
So
to set
yeah.
up in the basement. So what does your exercise program look like?
So yeah, right now I do a lot of jogging. I got myself a MMA kit and boxing gloves and everything. So I do a lot of pad-based training, and I do a lot of body weight exercises now because I realized that I used to power lift quite a bit and I used to compete, but like whenever I sleep on the ground or lay down on the ground, I'm like, damn, my quads are killing me, man. I can't lay on the ground like my like at one point they just get like, your joints get so tough and your muscles get so tough where it's like they're not big but they're just like tight. So
Yeah.
like even laying on the ground, like the sheer weight of
Mm-hmm.
them like hurts your muscles.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I probably shouldn't be doing that stuff anymore because like knee pains isn't something I'm supposed to get at my age.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I'm just doing body weight exercises now. I'm going into a lot more cleans, presses, and that's pretty much it for me. And I run quite a bit now.
Well, if you're feeling that tightness in your body, I would actually recommend taking a Nia class.
I will be
Because
doing that.
Nia is very, like we play with different energies, right? So there's Taekwondo elements, which is like very, precise and, kind of masculine energy. And then there's, lots of feminine energies. We play with Aikido energy and Tai Chi and mindful movement. And there's a lot of flow involved. And that is really what, leaves my body feeling really slinky and kind of real loose and relaxed and no pain, like just feeling really, you know, loosey goosey and good. So I would recommend that. And that's another thing is like a lot of people think Nia, because it's dancey, is just for women, and it's really designed for everyone. It's really a feel good tool for everyone to connect with their body. So
Yeah, like I think exercising overall, especially like movement-based exercising, like is really in touch to getting like really good for getting in touch. I think
mhm.
martial arts is the biggest aspect as well. Everyone's like, oh, martial arts, it's a guy thing, but some of the deadliest fighters I've seen are women. I remember like guys don't have the skill and strength to pull this off. But I remember at one point I forgot who was fighting, but the lady just picked up the other lady and smashed her on her head. Not even like on the neck, like right on the head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, no. I watched UFC since like the beginning, and no guy ever did that to another guy.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff happens regularly in the woman MMA weight class, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't speak to their workout regime, but I can say that, doing Nia and doing lots of dancing, like I don't do any sit-ups or I don't do weights, like, but I have a lot of muscle and I'm, I'm small, but it's very strong. And like, I like sometimes when like guys hug me and stuff, they go, "Oh, you're so small, but you're like really strong," you know? So it's, there's definitely lots of different ways to develop muscle and strength. And it doesn't necessarily look like having a massive muscle this big.
Yeah, like that's that's and having muscle that big actually doesn't make you strong as well, because like if you look at
Mhm.
bodybuilders,
Mhm.
yeah, and compare their weightlifting stats, they technically may be bigger than a lot of power lifters out there, and power lifters look like walking pandas.
Right.
But if you look at it, but if you look at what a bodybuilder's lifting, there's always going to be a 5'3", 5'4" power lifter out there that has an eighth or a quarter of the muscle that the bodybuilder would have, but like can do the exact same lift with better form out
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
So like, yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
I
not
don't think
about the quantity of muscle; it's about the quality of it.
right. And yeah, having like there's no correlation between having big muscles and being heart healthy, right? Like it's you know, you can be a healthy, smaller person as long as you're just taking care of your cardio health and you're moving. That's what's really important, and that you're not in pain, right?
Yeah, like I always considered myself an athlete, but when I got on the treadmill last time, I'm like, I'm really out of shape. To this day, like I thought I was like healthy by lifting weights. I always did 5 to 10 minutes of cardio just to warm up, but like always hit the weights right after. But when I was doing pure cardio, I'm like, I'm really out of weight now.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to take care of all elements of the fitness world, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to ask you another quick question.
Sure.
As a newbie podcaster myself, I thought it's time that I learn
Uh-huh.
as well. So like, what it like during your podcast journey right now? What's some new things that you learned overall and want to share?
Hmm.
Yeah, especially for people, what they can do during quarantine to expand their view in this field. Actually, it, overall,
To expand their, I'm sorry, what was
expand their horizon into the podcasting field as
mm,
well.
yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, starting a podcast has been such a journey for me, especially since I have like content ideas come to me like just like water. Like I just have so many ideas in terms of what I want to do content wise. But there are so many technical aspects to it that I just don't jive with like my immediate skills and abilities. So I've had to learn a lot. Technically speaking, and that's been a journey. But there's so many online resources, like a Buzzsprout, the hosting site, like they just give you so many resources about what you can do to get set up technically. And also there's like lots of articles about how to monetize a podcast, which I'm learning now. And there's Patreon and like getting funding for creators, and you were telling me about Spritzy and AdSense. And so there's like so many things to learn in the world of creating a podcast to be an income. But I think what I'm learning too is that what's most important is you create value for people with your content. And I think that really comes from the heart, right? Like if you're really talking about something that you really care about and you're connecting with another interviewee about a topic that's really important and that can make a difference for people, that's really what's important. So that it's been really fulfilling for me to be on this journey and just kind of discovering what everything is, but I'm just kind of letting things flow. I'm preparing for the interviews, but also wanting to be relaxed and just learning as I go, really.
Yeah, like I think it's the same thing for me because like until now, all my videos, I'm not a supplier can't trash his own supply, but I'm
Mm.
gonna do it anyway. My I'm gonna tell my content till this until the quarantine was not the best, but because like I'd be filming in that studio and then one of my friends would be who was walking to the library would see me. He'd knock on the door. I'd be like, "Yo, come on in. Let's chit chat for a bit on air." Or then I'd also get a WhatsApp message being like, "Dude, while I'm being on air," he'd be like, "Dude, can you suggest a computer for me?" So I went at one point. I went from like talking about intermittent fasting all the way to trashing Apple in one episode.
Yeah.
But now because I have time to actually collect my thoughts and actually have guests that guests that had a lot of plans, but like now all those plans got deleted.
Yeah.
So now they can just sit and actually podcast with me. I think this time actually helped me develop a lot. And for people who don't know what I mean, compare 2 episodes ago to my last episode with Jay. They would see a huge difference in the
Mm.
quality and the not even like the quality of the video. Like I know it went to trash because of the lack of my camera, but it went to quality and content. So I think, yeah. Do you want to add to that point, or?
Yeah, just say like I don't think there are any hard and fast rules about what to do. It's just you have to get profoundly related to what it is your listeners want to hear. Like, do they want to hear a variety of topics in one episode, or do they want to hear just one topic, or do they want a video, or do they just want audio? So you just have to figure out what it is that what your listeners want, I think.
Yeah, like one of the biggest things I've got was my background bummed out a lot of people. So that's why if anyone looks at my screen or like is looking at the screen right now, they see like my mound of toilet paper that I've been collecting. But now that I have a lot more time, I'm able to take audience feedback a lot better and actually fix what's going on with my podcast in terms
Yeah.
of issues. And how does this all tie back to our main point of mindfulness? I think for me, I had extra time to just sit down and lay there and like think about my issues. So now I have the time to not only think about it, but to fix it as well.
Yeah, to get proactive and get ahead of things and use this time wisely to be smart about your podcast and your schoolwork and all your future endeavors. Yeah.
Well, yeah, is there any other topics you want to talk about today or bring up? Any new promotions that Nia is doing or anything like that?
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point. So Nia HQ has decided to offer Nia classes free for 1 month. Due to the COVID pandemic. So you can do that by going to Nia TV. Just Google Nia TV, and also beyond the 1 month, then you get a 50% discount. I think it's 6 months after. I forget the exact details of it, but yeah, there's a discount on Nia TV, and so you get all the workouts on inside of your Nia TV account. So you can do that from home as well. If you don't know or don't want to join a group class online, or you just want to do it on your own time, that's definitely an option for you.
Yeah, I'll be putting that information in the description of this video as well, along
Cool.
with your podcast website.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah, so people can reach out to
Yeah.
Chelsea's website and also to Nia's website. And hopefully, this podcast helps you realize that, oh, you don't have to have a panic attack about whether COVID's going to hit you or not. As long as you stay inside your house, you're going to be fine. And you should use this extra free time that you have to meditate, think about what is wrong with your life and see how you can fix that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you phrase it that way. I wouldn't come from there's something wrong that I need to fix. I would come from there's something I'm doing that I'm not committed to, and there's something else that I want to get committed to. Because when we come from something's wrong and we want to fix it, we're making ourselves wrong, and it's just like plays into that whole resistance thing, right? So you want to come from love and come from a place of wanting to create as opposed to punish yourself. As someone like I used to, as a very young person, I was anorexic, and so I'm I'm related to that world of like doing fitness and exercise and eating in a way that was to punish myself. And I know it's just infinitely more powerful to come from a place of love and creation and living into a future that excites you. So I think that's a really important distinction to make there.
Yeah, thank you for the correction for that. It
Yeah,
it
no,
would
no
probably help a
problem.
lot of people. Yeah,
It was a good teachable moment, right?
yeah. So yeah, if uh, I will be having a Q&A as well for a future episode because I do have a lot of people who do send in exercise requests or helping them out. So if people are interested or in figuring out how they can get more dance based or yoga based or just mindfulness in a way via online exercise, Nia is probably the way to go. And talking with Chelsea or listening to her podcast or looking at her content would definitely help a lot of people out. So so a lot of people who have that kind of question, I would like to direct towards Chelsea's content to really help them out.
Yeah, totally. You can reach me anytime through my podcast website. And if you want to participate in my free online classes, I would recommend going to the Bliss Yoga Studio website. It's like blissyogastudio.net, and then click on the schedule part, and you can find the Zoom links to my online classes. And you can always email me if you have any questions. Email me at Nia, N-I-A, with Chelsea, CHELSEA, at gmail.com. And I would be happy to answer any questions about health and wellness that you may have.
Yeah, I'll put that down in the description as well. So with that, I think we'll conclude the podcast for today. Thank you
Cool.
for being on.
Anything else you want to share, Nick?
So far, other than my workout routine, which I did put on my Insta story, like I know not everyone has a bench press, but at home, but I've been doing a lot more push-ups as well, push-ups, and I've been using one of my racks. The underneath has just enough space for me to put my feet in, so without having someone stand on my feet, I've been doing push-ups. Or sit-ups, I mean, and I've been doing a lot of air squats with my backpack on with all my textbooks in it. So other than that, which I've actually put into my story, I haven't been doing too much for workouts. But yeah, if you guys do have any questions about how you can do at-home workouts, please do leave a comment or reach me out at my Insta. All right,
Cool.
yeah. Thank you. Till next time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I'll just stop